Greetings, magical beings, spiritual warriors, all those of you out there who are holding the light in your own life and for many others. Hello and welcome to Age of the Mage podcast. This is episode number 6, and it's called You Are Not Alone. I am recording this message today because I've been told to record this message. This is straight from the angels that are helping me get these messages out into the world. This is coming straight from the guides that I have worked with for many years, all different kinds, from all different realms. And they have requested that I share this very important message with any of you who may be listening. They want me to tell you that you are not alone. All around the world, in our 3D dimension and in other dimensions that are uplifting us and staying close by right now, major things are taking place. In the last podcast, we talked about truth and some of the ways that truth is coming to light and affecting the whole world, and it's affecting each one of us too. And we're going to talk more about that. But one of the things that's happening is that we, because of all this influence and because of all this intense energy and the coming decision that we'll each be making regarding the timeline we'll walk on, we'll choose for our future, this is a lot of energy coming in on each one of us, and it may very well be highlighting some of our own darkness, some of our own cause for despair or discouragement, as well as highlighting the good points and the strong and wonderful, powerful things that are happening for us. But it's easy at times like this to feel alone, to feel isolated. And we've even had additional, things put upon us in the last year that have increased this sense of isolation for many of us all around the world, everywhere. If you weren't feeling alone already, it's not that hard to feel it now. So I know that many of us are going through this. And the message that I've been given to share today is to remind us of who is actually with us. And I'd like to talk first about those that are not in the 3D realm. As you know, I've mentioned before, and I will be sharing in the future some of the direct quotes from the messages we get from our guardians. They have been telling us now for almost 2 years that this great gathering is approaching and the great awakening is happening. And because of the seriousness of such an event, multitudes of benevolent beings are gathered around our earth at this time. So one level of something that you might choose to believe in, or it might give you a sense of hope about not being alone, maybe as an entire race or as large societies or cultures, is to know, I want to share with you so you can know in your hearts and in your minds that a tremendous amount of help is surrounding our world at this time to help the human race be able to move into the most benevolent timeline we have ever seen in any of our recent history. That help is there. Their energy is around us. Now, that may be a little general, so let's keep going here. I have had experiences from the time I was a very little tiny girl, enough to know that there are personal beings that have protected me and are protecting each one of you, that are with each one of you, that walk beside you every day and every night, that stay beside you. No matter what you may be going through, these blessed beings are with you. There are many types of these beings, in my experience and in my opinion. A great many of people around the world believe in angels, and I do too. I have some wonderful angel stories I'll be sharing in the future, and I'm developing my own magical path to incorporate more angel work. So, one of these sources of beings that is with you always certainly comes from angelic realms. Sometimes it's a special need that you may have, and different angels are called to your side. Other times you walk with a guardian angel, a special being that is with you all of your life. Now, besides angels and those from angelic realms, we have loved ones, beloved ancestors, and beloved friends and soul family that come and be with us at times we need them. They are around us as well. Very often they're trying to even give us messages. And because we have a veil between ourselves and these other dimensions, it can be so hard to receive those messages or to even have the faith that they're actually there. But they are. They are. And I will share experiences about my own experiences with that realm as well. I have read so many things, so many fascinating stories that people have experienced with loved ones coming through from other dimensions, to know that this is not falsehood. This is a true source of comfort and a true source of compassion and a true source of guidance, if we would let it be. A third type of being that can come is someone that perhaps is not from an angelic realm and perhaps doesn't even have strong familial ties with you or soul family ties with you, but is a being connected to you through your purpose. Someone who is there to offer assistance and guidance because they share a purpose with you and would like to help you achieve your purpose in your incarnation on earth. I met a guide this way many, many years ago, and he has blessed my life with information, and he's also contributed to some healing that I desperately needed. So I have a long-standing personal experience with this kind of guide, and it's fascinating. It's truly an experience to go through. And I feel that these types of guides are available to every one of you as well. Many of you already have experiences, probably far beyond mine, with any one of these types of beings. There may also be another type coming into our lives right now, and that we might call interdimensional or extraterrestrial. If our Earth is truly trying to shift into a whole new vibration and an entirely new frequency, and we are indeed surrounded by multitudes of benevolent beings, alliances of light and truth and love that are trying to help us, it's very likely that many of these beings come from other places and other realms that have already experienced perhaps such shifts and have wisdom to share with us, in addition to support, in addition to power against dark forces. They may be here to give us access to their knowledge. And many people have become channelers or communicators with these beings. We hear about people who connect with the Palladians or the Arcturians or other galactic races that we hear about more and more and more. This is exponentially exploding as a source of information. So this is another place outside of our own dimension that we can take comfort from, and we can draw guidance from and work with and engage in powerful ways with. So, my goodness. And that doesn't even count the divinity, the God and goddess, the source, the creator, any of these things which you feel strongly connected to. Avatars, ascended masters, Jesus, Buddha, other amazing, divine masters that also can be with you, and many of you feel strong connections in that realm too. So already This is part of the message they wanted me to give you today. Are these reminders, because I know you already know this. This is not news. Anyone listening to my podcast and that will resonate with these, you are advanced souls. I truly believe it. You already have this knowledge completely figured out. But sometimes, no matter where we've been and what we know, times can get discouraging or we may feel alone. And this they're really pressing me today to help each one of you remind yourself about all the experiences you've had that have let you know something else is there with you. I'd also like to talk a minute about the earthly connections you have, the third dimension connections. They can remind us we're not alone too. Now, some of us are estranged from our families. Perhaps we don't get along with friends. Perhaps we don't have a lot of friends. Perhaps we may find ourselves in a new territory, new location, or a new age or new cycle where our friendships seem to have disappeared. And we can feel alone. We can feel isolated. Others have close family ties and close friendships. So I know it's very different for each one of you out there. But I'm being instructed to remind us not to overlook how valuable the love is that we might be receiving from a spouse or a friend or a sibling, a loved one. Invaluable source of power and strength can come from this. Now, there's another thing besides those things we automatically come to mind. And some of us are like, well, I just don't have any of those. That doesn't help me in this life because I'm just too isolated and I don't have friends I can trust. Well, this is part of the answer. This gathering that I saw the vision about many years ago is an answer to some of this, because as we have seen in this era of technology, social networking, cell phones, and worldwide access to one another, we have seen the power that comes from the network, from the 3D world ability to talk to each other and connect. Those of us who are magically inclined can see beneath the scenes. We understand that every time you turn on your computer, every time you open up a podcast, every time you watch a video, energy is being exchanged between you and that creator of that podcast every time. If you answer a phone call, energy is coming to you from the other end of that line, from that person on the other end of the line, and you are sending energy through the line to that person. So on its face, it looks like, yeah, there's a connection. I read someone's words that I see in a blog. I get it. No, it's so much bigger, and I know you know that. I know you've had experience with that. Some of us, those maybe who lean towards more introvert behavior, can feel worn out just at the end of the day and wonder why. And maybe all you've done is listen to podcasts or look through videos. Well, the reason is because all that energy is very real, very real. It comes to you almost as strongly as if you were in a room full of people. And we need to keep this in mind. Now, it ties in to being this concept of us not being alone, in that whether we do this consciously or not, we connect to networks all day long. We give our permission to share energy fields with people, with networks, every time we go onto a network, to go onto a platform like Facebook, like Twitter, like YouTube. Anytime we do that, we are giving our permission to take part in that energy field. And we can refine that energy field by finding those we resonate with. So yes, there will be an energy that comes to you simply by being on the platform, simply by being in the world of connection. But we can help refine and elevate that energy stream by choosing where to tune into. Because then we deepen those ties. We strengthen those little wires of light that exist between us by choosing to go to very specific places for the energy it gives us and for the exchange and for the energy we can feed back into that network. All this is happening. And I know you, as my listening audience, knows this. I know you are so aware of the nuances of energy and what happens there in that realm. Again, I'm just being asked to serve you this reminder because even I need it. Even all of us need it. It doesn't matter how deep and how our experience go and how wise we are. We all need the reminders of how powerful our 3D connections are and how they can serve us and how they can share an energy field with us in such a way that we do not have to feel alone. It's almost like choosing a family or choosing friends. And yet we may not ever meet each other in person, and we may never go to a movie together. We may never share a lunch or wine or dinner. But we are connected through a network of energy. And this is going to become more and more obvious as the shift occurs on Earth, as our realities merge and become more fluid, as we go into higher dimensions. The strength of the underlying energy systems, the grids, the connections, those are going to become more and more apparent, and their effects, I believe, are going to be more apparent. So here's to encapsulate this idea. Let's go back a minute and think. Do I have anyone with me right here on Earth? Because, it's all fine and dandy to have all these invisible people around me, Mary. But, sometimes a person really just needs a real person to talk to. Yes, you have that. You have that. We offer that at modernmasters.com. Sorry, modernmasters.org. Don't want to send you to the wrong place. If you once register there, it's all safe. It's sacred. We don't share your information, but we have chats inside there with lovely people. We welcome any of you who would like to take part and start chatting with us and sharing ideas. And some of those people have felt very alone until we have found each other, I can assure you. One of the things that can make people feel alone is if they're an outlier. If they're not marching to the same tune as everyone else around them. And in the case of magic, this can happen so easily because your spirit may be here for so many different kinds of things than even your own family, even your own circle of friends or neighbors or small community. And that can feel pretty isolating when there is no one to tell about your dreams or about your visions or about you. Perhaps you are a Therian. Perhaps you have such a bond with animals that you turn into an animal. Perhaps you are a hybrid and communicate with your galactic family and parents. Who are you going to tell these things to? Right? It can feel so lonely. We are here for that. We're here for you. We're here for your story because you, as the outliers, as such fabulous, stupendous, magical people who are so courageous and here to do such daring things and represent such deep and hidden and occult information. Oh, we welcome you into our network because just think what just one of you, just the presence of each one of you that joins us either as a network of listening to the podcasts or going a step further and coming into our chats, maybe even steps farther down the road later where we take part in magic together, prayer together, meditation together. Oh my goodness, if you could only see things I have been shown about the light that exponentially explodes from the network when just one of you is willing to share your amazing energy with the rest of us. So we thank you. And so this network wants to come back and return in gratitude energy to you. In case you are feeling alone, in case you are a mystic holding up the world on your shoulders, we'd like to support you too. You are not alone. You are surrounded by beings who are going to work through you your entire lifetime here. And this was pre-contracted. This was pre-known. This was something you accepted. I would love to see that bond and those connections flourish in your life, become more and more apparent to you each and every day, so you can do your work and fulfill your destiny. You are not alone. You are here, you're listening, and my heart goes out to you. Believe me, I can feel the energy that I transmit out there. Now it's up to the listener to reach out and meet me in the middle. Remember where the magic lies, in the liminal space, in the gap. That's where we're meeting. Whenever we're talking through a network like this, we're meeting in that gap, and magic can take place. And magic and spirit is what confirms to you that you are not alone. So yes, we have quite a state of affairs going on in our world. Truth is rising up into the light, and it's going to rise up everywhere, in large-scale ways and in very individual ways. And we can hold hands through this. We can establish magical, etheric networks of connections that help us as individuals each get through these times that are coming. Some not so great, and some fabulous yet to come. I share this message with you because it was shared with me today, and because it was offered to me in such a way that this message of reminding us all that we have one another and we have magic at our disposal. Not only do we have sentient beings of all sorts surrounding us and waiting until the time we ask for their help, but we also have access to powers, stupendous powers, all the power we actually need for each circumstance we find ourselves in. The power is there for alchemy to take place. The power is there for transformation to take place. That's what magic is. And we'll talk more about that, of course, many, many times coming up ahead. Today, please believe my words that I wish each and every one of you all the best in your lives and those things that you desire the most. That's for your highest good and the highest good of all. And the way I see this happening is for you to feel loved, for you to feel safe, for you to feel powerful, and for you to feel and know that you are not alone. Blessings to each of you. Bye for now.